Hello together, my name is Leon and welcome to the second Q&A of the CSS-Forum. Today we will present you the Rocket Stabilizer, a new company from Germany here. Two really young guys, their first new product is Apollo Arm.
But the second guy isn't me. He's
Yeah, that's true. So Jan-Luca, it's
partner.
one of the. It's not here today. He is sick, unfortunately, but he is on live stream with us together. And Adrian is with me here today in the studio, also as well. Moritz is the Trinity operator here from Munich with his Trinity. So he will show you a little bit how it's operating and how it works. And first of all, we are happy to can be again in this amazing studio here in Ari to have the opportunity to be here. That's really cool. So thank you, Ari, for that. And I think we will start. Jan-Luca, maybe you will introduce you at first. So
sure thing. Hello. Hope everyone can hear and see me. So things didn't go as planned. Thank you, Leon, for being flexible enough to put me on the live stream remotely. I've got quite a heavy flu, but nonetheless, we made it. So I'm 23 years old and I'm still studying mechanical engineering. I've got a background in working with two of the big German CNC machine manufacturers. So I did an apprenticeship and then worked for them, also interned with them, meaning that like for a couple of years now, I've learned to manufacture really, really precise machines that make any other machine. So the main customers of those two companies were Caterpillar and Mercedes-Benz for the engine blocks. So yeah, I'm more of the engineering and the business part of the company with that background. But so far so good. I think let's head over to Adrian.
Okay.
Well, yes. My name is Adrian. I'm the co-owner and inventor of the Apollo Arm. I'm a Steadicam operator, also with a mechanical engineering background. Yeah, and what we are showing you today is the Apollo Arm. Moritz already have one on its vest attached. And you can see it's a very new and innovative arm design. And Jan-Luca will now tell you a little bit about our background and what were our thoughts about this arm and how it got together.
So I have the first question here. And again, guys, so if somebody has a question, you can put it directly in the chat or just put the hand up and you can ask everything what you need, what you're interested in. So the first question is, how does the Apollo Arm perform in extreme conditions? Cold, hot, and humidity?
It's a very good question. Our bands are made out of special material, extra designed for us. We tested them also in a climate chamber in harsh temperature ranges of minus 15 degrees Celsius and also up to 50 degrees Celsius. So the arm performs in almost every condition, always the same. So you don't need any heating cover in the cold or any protection in the hot. So yeah, the arm is pretty all-rounder.
Nice.
In that case.
So to be honest, I'm one of the first beta testers. So I think I did the first test
September
yes. Last year. So
yeah, we did it together, yeah.
So we put the test together. So Moritz, me, and Christopher, another operator here from Munich, and we was really flashed. So to be honest, I was a little bit
skeptical.
When I saw the design of the arm, so it's quite different. It's remembers also on other arm on the market, but it's totally different.
It feels different, yes.
And feels definitely different. And when I first tried the arm, especially with the Trinity, I was blown away. So that's was amazing. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, so you don't feel it. It's not in the way because it's so light and small. It has a very slim profile, so you can operate close to your body and don't really feel it. Especially with the Trinity, you can really go down and low, and the boom range is is also amazing. You can't even reach the lowest, the low with
Yeah,
your arm.
that's impressive,
Yeah.
especially with the Trinity. So, so you feel that there's definitely addition on the
Sure.
range
Yeah.
when you're operating. So the other question that we have is, what is the payload range of the arm? So this is a good question for
Yeah,
Trinity or Omega
Yeah,
operators.
sure. The payload range is almost the same as every high-end other arm on the market. It's between 0 and 35 degrees, kilograms, sorry. Yeah, I mean,
So that's in pound,
it's around 77 pounds, I
77
think. Yeah, I mean, it's designed for every configuration of setup you
so
can think of.
every kind
Yes,
of setups. is
classical
possible.
Steadicam, also or heavy load Trinity setups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
How you came on the idea to build this arm? So,
Well, it's a long story.
So,
I think
maybe
I
Jan-Luca,
can
yeah.
now introduce it. How it
Yeah.
got to it.
I would take over and give you a little bit of insight because I think most of you, or for most of you, we appeared on December 24th when we launched the reel with Ari Robbins. So we basically came out of nowhere and no one had an idea who we even were.
Okay, maybe I can put the camera on, please.
Of course, sorry.
Sure.
Where we came from. And for that, to give you a bit of perspective, I think it's important if we share a bit of background about band-based arms and how we ended up making one. So I'm going to share my screen, which I hope is sharing now. Oh yeah, it is.
That's
Perfect.
good.
Okay, so a document by WIPO, which is the World Intellectual Property organization. This is the first patent which has ever been published about a stabilization arm using rubber bands or band material in general. And it was published all the way back in 2007 by someone from France, actually. It's Pierre Davzac, and I'm really sorry if I butchered the name. And the company behind that is relatively unknown. It's called El Aigle. But this patent actually is quite interesting. If you take a look at what he patented, this was his design. So he used bent sheet metal and he put his rubber bands on the inside on some sort of drums. He also had a curved attachment mechanism to change the angle of the bands, change the strength of the bands. But in the same patent, he also patented using rollers to put on the bands and putting the bands on the outside in a diagonal fashion. So all of the things which are on the market currently have basically been covered by this patent. We can take a look at El Aigle's last design. They never really took off. We can't really know why, but you can see the bands on the inside and their construction. He added, or the company added, screw adjustment mechanisms later. But
I never heard about this
No.
brand.
yeah, that was basically the first ever company which did a band-based arm. And about 4 years later was the first time that this part of the patent, which is putting the bands on the outside of the arm, has been used. And that company is more well known. It's NB Stabilizer. So NB Stabilizer was the first one to use that part of the patent. We don't know how it worked between the companies, but that's not our case. And then a couple of years later, I think it's going back 2 years now, how are they called? Reaver Stabilizer was the last one to jump in on that same idea of diagonal bands and rollers. He used a different angle, but never mind. So basically, since that patent back in 2007, not much has been done in terms of innovation on band-based systems. And as we know from spring-based systems, it takes quite a while to refine a concept. If you look back at the spring arms from the 70s to the spring arms now, they've gotten a lot better. So we saw a lot of potential. The spring arm or spring-based systems are quite well developed now. They're like in their late stages of development, there's not much more performance to gain. But there was quite a lot of performance left on the table for band-based systems. So that's where Adrian and me decided to jump in and try to make a system which addresses one major issue, which is that with the normal band-based systems, it is always a diagonal rubber band. So there's no way to alter the dampening behavior of the arm. And we thought of a way how we can do it. And that's the reason why you never heard of us until December 24th, because until then we've been in prototyping, patenting, working under NDA over half the world. So there's a bunch of people, it's about like 30, 40 people, which have seen this project over half a year ago, but we just couldn't share it publicly because of working under the NDA to get our patent done. So yeah, this is how we came to be, and maybe now it makes more sense why all of a sudden there's a new company which people are hyped about. I want to address one more thing, which is kind of with the question we've gotten most since starting on the Instagram is, are we a copy of the NB stabilizer? I think with this knowledge, you can judge for yourself if we are. But if you compare different arms, it's kind of like comparing different cars. Like a Prius and a Porsche both have 4 wheels, but obviously they drive and behave very differently. So the thing which is stunning about our arm is the weight. It's 2.8 kilos, and that's without cheating, without any like lighter socket or taking parts off or not having the rubber bands off. That's the operating weight. And to achieve that while not losing strength, while keeping the torsion resistance of the arm, that's quite the achievement. So much that the CEO of another company has reached out asking, have we taken off parts measuring the arm because it's so light? So in terms of material, in terms of engineering and construction, there is a ton in that arm which you won't see from a distance, but you will feel. And that's why the response towards our arm has always been, first of all, disbelief. How can it be so small? How can this be a whole arm? But the second response after trying was always amazement. So I think that's enough from me, and I would hand over to the guys in the studio, which is way more exciting, which have a lot to share.
Thank you, Jan-Luca. And that's my first question, so personal. So how you did this design so really slim and light and
well, in short, it was a very long development process for us. So we did a very lot of try and error. It's a combination about with constructing the CAD programs with statical and dynamic simulations, finding out what parts are the most parts that are in this combination are under the heavy loads of the setup. I mean, every arm works in a quite way the same. So there's not so much free roam to say, yeah, we could do an arm that is completely in a different way optically.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult, if you can imagine. And yeah, I mean, there are arms out there that we took as an inspiration and took it for us to develop it furthermore and in a better way.
For me, the first thing that I recognized was the arm is extremely small and extremely light.
Yeah.
So, and especially with the Trinity, what I recognized, we in the Trinity operator have a so-called problem. It's a snailing. So that means when you are in this javelin mode and you're walking, the ring stabilizer tries to compensate your hip movement, and that's the reason why you the whole rig starts to make not a straight line. It's making a snailing,
left and right
shifting. So, and what I recognized with this arm, I reduced the snailing dramatically. And my theory is it depends on the weight of the arm.
Yes.
So
yes, it's the weight. As Jan-Luca already said, the arm is only 2.8 kilograms heavy under the normal operating configuration. So the slow weight tends to the arm that it doesn't have this much of an internal inertia in itself. So the arm is, when it's operating and when it's working, it's not starting to pulling on your rig to the side when you're walking. So that's why the low weight is
less mass. That's moving, that's shifting. That's also this nice feeling while operating. So
exactly,
really
you don't really feel the arm. It's not like with other arms, which are way heavier. You always kind of operate like, okay, if I take this step, then I have to like readjust a little bit. With this arm, you don't feel it. That's
And my second question was in the beginning, so why the arm looks really small and really fragile. So how stiff is the arm? So.
Well, this arm is pretty stiff. We tested it under very heavy conditions, as I said before. Also with heavy setups like the Trinity 2 in a very heavy configuration, the arm doesn't tend to bend in itself in a way. We constructed it in a way that it's very torsion free. So if the arm is in a very extended position, it will not start to escape or run away like an other arm. So that's one of our big advantages. So if Moritz could take on this Trinity 2,
sure.
I can show it to you what I mean with that. Well, you can see when Moritz is operating this Trinity 2 setup, a big advantage is when he tries to move the rig from him away, the rig doesn't really start to fight against him. And that's what our special geometry is for. And our stiff design also.
And you see really good clearance, a really nice clearance.
Yeah.
Also the
can really go low.
Low profile doesn't come in a way with the NTG handle when he's going in a low mode.
So go in low mode with the rig in low mode,
This is without extensions.
Okay, that's impressive.
So
that's definitely
really
impressive,
close.
Especially for the Trinity. With 22, we have the problem that the head it's heavy. So we have always the problem that we cannot go with the head further away from the gimbal. So that means we need sometimes post extension, something like that, to get really low mode. So that's
so if I had an extension, I would hit the floor. With this.
And that's also the reason why I'm using personally the X-Arm. So the X-Arm 5 years ago was the arm with the best boom range on the market, and that was for me the decision to go to the X-Arm.
And this position usually is really uncomfortable to operate. And
especially here the clearance is amazing.
Exactly, I'm really close to, I don't know if you can see, but this is really close, and you can do really close operating without even getting in the way. The arm getting in the way.
It's impressive.
So.
Also, the boom range is very noticeable. So you can go very high. We have a total boom range of around 82.5 centimeters. So that means also...
Have you measured the maximum heights and lows? So what you can reach?
Not with Trinity already, no.
It also depends on the setup, I believe.
Maybe interesting to measure this.
Yeah, sure.
Let me maybe add in there. So camera is back on. So the way we approach designing the arm is basically Adrian, being the experienced operator, giving me what the arm should feel like, what it should do, and like basically the operating side, and me turning that into parts. And the fun thing about engineering is designing a part in a way where it fulfills exactly the functions required and nothing more. That's why the arm looks like it does. There is absolutely no material on that arm which is there for design. Everything has a function, and if it doesn't have a function, it gets cut for weight savings. That's why the arm looks so small, so flimsy, yet is more resistant to torsion than most other arms. And we actually we went ahead, like head to head against another arm, and did a longevity test in the machine. Not only did we surpass the other arm, we actually broke the machine. So the design has been tested out and is quite it's quite incredible to see, even for us, knowing what we put in.
Look at this next question from my side here now. So
Okay.
we have some questions from the chat. So other questions. What materials are used in the construction of the Apollo arm? So
Well, you can be sure that we almost used every material we use is a top-notch material.
Yeah.
I don't really can go into details here, but you can expect that this arm is really made out of
aluminium. Or...
It is mainly made out of aluminium, yes,
Yeah.
but also with some other special materials.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be sure that it will hold up.
Okay, that's question.
Yeah, sure.
So, if somebody from the Zoom guys here have some questions, please ask or type it in the chat. Thank you. And the other important question: what kind of maintenance system needed?
Well, that's a very good question. We tested this arm, like Jan-Luca said before, in a special machine where we simulated the standard walking and lift cycles of an arm, and we got over 1 million cycles with it until the machine broke, and the bearings are still in a very, very good condition. So we expect that this arm will last up at least for 2 to 3 years with the bearings in itself.
Okay.
And the bands in itself will hold up to 2 to 3 years.
How is with the bearings? Can I replace it by
Yeah.
itself? So on set?
Yes, you can replace them
Yeah.
on yourself. I mean, if you want to have the very good bearings we use, you should contact us for our service.
Yeah, of
but
course, yeah.
if you have an emergency, you really need something fast and a replacement, you can also replace it on yourself, yes.
Okay, nice. And the rubbers?
Yeah.
What kind of rubbers?
Also a
would you
very,
using there?
very good question. This is also a material I can't really say to you and to all of you.
But then
I can say that these rubbers are specially made for us also, and they're approved by the FDA in the USA, so they don't contain any of problematic materials in it that could harm you in any way. So they're also in a medical grade standard. So they are used in the medic section.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, I said before, the arm can operate in the
ecological
Yeah.
and
And
environment friendly.
with sunlight and UV.
sunlight UV. They have
How about the care about so with the other silicone rubber arms,
Also a good
stuff
question.
like that, so you have
Yeah.
to do some silicone milk in it?
no, you don't have to use silicone, as silicone is going to attack the material.
Okay.
But what you can use is talcum, the
Okay,
powder.
powder, okay.
Just powder a little bit in it, so they just feel a little bit more, yeah, like a conditioner. It
Yeah.
is.
Interesting. So this now, I would say that's a payload now about 20 kgs, 25, 22, 23
maybe.
kgs, something like that. So, but the rubbers now are on maximum. So if you will have different type of rubbers,
Yes,
thickness
we will have two
strengths?
rubber thicknesses. One is the standard thickness of 1.3 millimeters. This will be the size where you could fine tune the arm and the segments in itself. And then there will be a thicker one. It will be around 3 times thicker than the standard band thickness. So this will give you the core strength of the arm, and then you will add up the smaller ones for the fine tuning.
Nice. And how feels to operate? So
It feels pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
think-
the bands, you even
so
have.
I think you tested it a lot on broadcast shows.
Yes.
So.
So I did a lot of broadcasts with it, and depending on the show, it went for like 2, 3. Yesterday, I had over 4 hours.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful because it's almost 3 kilograms lighter than my arm.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so that's
especially
really a
when-
relief
especially
on the
when you're using
back
an old Pro arm
Yeah.
or a G70. So
exactly. So not only
it's a huge
for
difference, absolutely.
not only for Trinity, but
Yeah.
also for live television. I believe it's
Mhm.
really it's a game changer.
Yeah, I use it
Good
also
way.
on a
Yeah.
big show, and the big RF setup with the Sony Burano and a zoom lens,
Yeah.
and it was, I think, about 28, nearly to 30 kgs. And the arm makes a big difference. So
Yeah.
the smaller weight, it makes a difference. So if you have a Sony Venice or Alexa Mini LF in the
Yeah,
rig, so
definitely.
and you feel it definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's for me the greatest thing on the arm here.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Yeah. So, other questions? And what kind of stabilizer is designed? So for all kind?
Yeah, sure.
So you can cover everything from the lightweight setup rigs to
You can go from a
to
standard Steadicam rig, like here in the side of the Amira on the Artemis 2. And you can go on a very light setup also. I mean, the strength of the arm is only determined by the numbers of bands you're putting on it.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you can also fly only 100 or 200 kilogram rig on it. But I mean, it's physically not really possible. But you can also go up to 35 kilograms on a heavy Trinity rig. This is no problem for the arm.
So this is the final design, or is still in prototype?
That's also a very good question. I want to talk about it. What you're seeing here now is our pre-series arm. This was also
you can show it with the arm, maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This was also the arm we tested a lot and passed it around our operators like Leon and Moritz. And our final arm will have an optical rework and also some mechanical reworks. For example, our bearings will be covered under domes so that dust and other fine structures will not get into it. Also, what our machine parts on every end section is also redesigned on a more like an elegant shape, a bit rounder and a bit more sleeker design. And we also will introduce a new system on the Steadicam arm market. This will be the vectoring system. This is the first system that will ever be on the market for now. It's the possibility to change your kickback strength and pre-angle.
Jan-Luca, maybe some graphics about it, how it works, that we can show the guys here?
Let me take them up and then I'll tell you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you. So, and you will also have the ability to change the bumper thicknesses on the middle joint.
Okay, nice.
So it means that you can personalize this arm to your operating style. So if you need a little bit more of the joint travel here, a little bit more of the negative angle for the operating, you can adjust it by yourself.
Nice.
And also the kickback, how it's set, you can set it with 3 different insert types, so you can suit it for.
But the vectoring means so you're not adjusting the stiffness or the hardness or
that's the orbit system we're calling. It's also a new way of changing the isoelasticity of an arm. That's also the part of the arm that we patented on us. There's also the Jan can show you later on in his programs. Therefore are these holes here on these profiles. These are here. You can insert some other rollers and some mechanics into it and pull the bands in a different way over the arm, like in a triangle shape. So that means that when the arm is working and the bands are spanned in a different way into the parallelogram of the arm, you will get a different isoelasticity setting.
Yeah.
That's the orbit system, what it's here for.
So that means when you need really, really soft ends or soft tops, so you can adjust it easily. That's nice. Okay.
So this will also be one of the first arms in the market that also can change the isoelasticity.
Nice. So it'll be available from the beginning, or
no? The orbit system will come later on as an upgrade part.
So Jan-Luca.
Yeah, I'll share my desktop again or my screen. So this is the vectoring system Adrian just talked about. I hope it's big enough. So basically, our kickback doesn't have any like metal springs in it. It is a band-based kickback. And what you can see is a couple of modules right here. This is the biggest one, 30 degrees. There's 2 smaller ones, and this is without a module. Basically, your rubber bands always come out over here and then attach onto this shark fin. And the first thing you can do is obviously, like, there's 2 rubber bands coming out. You can put on 0, you can put on 1, or put on 2. Kind of depends on how strong you want the kickback to be. Let's say you're like making very fine movements, or you even have a lock off, and you don't want the kickback like constantly pulling against you, or at least if it does, it should do so very gently. So in that case, you can just pull one band off, and you can do that on the fly. Sorry. Same thing if you need to go into a running shot. You can just put on another band and the kickback is firmly held back. For those modules, the idea behind them is basically depending on what vest you're using. If you use a back-mounted vest, there's like basically no kickback engagement at all during operating. But if you use the front-mounted vest, those all have different kickback angles. So depending on how you operate, if you're rather close to your body and the arm is in a tight package, or if the arm is quite open and your rig is further out, it happens with normal arms that your kickback spring is always engaged. So basically, think of that module being gone and those two parts being in this angle, but the kickback spring pulling. It always wants to go back to neutral, and you're always fighting it with your gimbal handle hand. So that's what these modules are for. Basically, you can like put all the bands off, go into your operating position, look where the kickback is at, and then add the module you need. So the kickback never pulls on the arm until you engage it. Like until you push your sled in front of you, put the gimbal handle behind you, and you want to be small to fit through a door. That's the idea behind the vectoring system. And then for the orbit system, almost forgot. We also have what Adrian talked about, different size bumpers, which go into the mid joint. That's what we call the linking hinge between the two segments of the arm. And they allow you to have different travel. So basically, if you have your arm really tight, like basically like in the picture, operating, what happens is that you're constantly bumping against the bumpers because your arm has very little space to move. If you just remove the big ones and put in the small ones, you give the arm a bunch of freedom it normally doesn't have. So it stops constantly bumping. By the way, this is our website, rocketstabilizer.com. So check it out if you like. For the orbit system, this is how we display it and basically visualize it. The orbit system is patented, and it will take a while before it is available to the public. But all Apollo arms are basically sold with being compatible with the system, and it's going to be a later upgrade. What people need, or what you need to think about thinking about the orbit system, is that for like 95% of the shots, especially if you're operating with your vest, you don't need it. The standard configuration in the middle is perfect for that. But for those like last 5% where you're hard mounted and it's really rough terrain, or you just want the arm to be aggressive, that's where we will have modules which you can put in, which alter the dampening behavior of the arm by changing the stretch of the band over the position of the arm dynamically. Okay.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
So again, the question for me. So I'm coming from my exam, so I know I have the arm is for me was on one of the best of the market. So that's the reason why I'm using the arm, especially in combination with the Trinity. But the arm has problems with cold. So
Yes.
when you're going, especially when you're shooting inside in bright, if you're shooting, you're going outside in a really cold condition, you will have problems. After a while, it's not so dramatical more. So you learn as operator to tune your arm that it's fitting for all conditions. How is code affecting here?
Well, with our new band types, code is not really a big issue for us anymore, as with our old bands we were tested before.
But you will lose a little bit tension.
You
No?
will lose a little bit of tension, but the bands are regenerating itself in a very quick way, so you don't really will notice any big difference if you change from the inside to the outside and back again.
Yeah. Okay. And other important question for me. So I'm use the arm only with heavy setups.
Yep.
So I have no chance, unfortunately, to use it with lighter setups. So, but I recognize with heavier setups, I have absolutely no problem with lens changes. So what I feel, so weight differences when you have a lens change from big lens to the shorter lens, everything what it's between 300 and 600 grams, it's not so drastical. So I
Yeah.
have not to tune the arm more. But I
That-
think when you have lighter setups, you will have
You will notice it a little bit more, but
Yeah.
the bands are very good in compensating
Yeah.
weight changes away. Why is it? Because our standard configuration, like seen here with the two rollers and not adding up some more with the orbit systems, the arm in itself is in a way damped. We call it critical damped.
Yeah.
So the only force you need to pull the rig up or down is something around 1 Newton or 100 grams. So it's very, very low.
Okay.
So if you put an, I don't know, 100-gram extra lens weight on the setup, you don't really will notice this weight because the bands are compensating it away and you will only need, I don't know, 200 grams for pulling the rig up or something. So the difference will not be that very big.
Okay, you have also second arm here.
Yeah, you have also here.
Tuned for the alternate.
Sure. I mean, if
nice, yeah.
Moritz wants, he can take the other one.
But it's similar when I see here, it's not so much. Maybe you could try first with this arm, so just to see how is the difference.
Sure.
So,
I think this difference will be a little bit bigger because the setup is
big.
very
well,
light.
but just
sure.
to see the difference, and how stiff the arm is.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's a big
That's
difference
right away,
between the
so-
Trinity 2 and a lighter
Yeah,
Artemis 1.
But again, it's elastic. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, theoretically, you
So
could.
theoretically
use it.
you could, but this is
I mean,
not tuned for it.
it's not really hard to get these bands off the rollers again. I mean, simply you just pull them
But
away.
that are the same bands that we're using
Yes.
here. Okay.
Also, the socket block design is also very familiar to some of you. It's also designed to get it into the vest very fast and very ergonomically, so you don't have to turn these screws a lot. And also the side-to-side setting is also possible to change during the weight is on your sled.
That's new. So my prototype has not the
Sure.
possibility.
No, that's a new socket block design. It's very familiar
Yeah, I've
to
tried
many
it
software.
yesterday for the first time,
Mhm.
and I didn't know it was on there. Popped it in, and it was like, oh, this feels better. Yeah, this feels more substantial. So yeah,
I mean, also the arm almost stays at the height he's pulling it.
yeah. I don't know.
No.
See it best.
Just turn on the camera so you see something.
I don't need to see anything.
But yeah, you can see you can go very low to very high
Yeah.
without any strength or force needed.
I think that's especially when you're doing talk shows and you're doing a lot of talk
Exactly.
shows. So
When you're sitting, like when they're all sitting, and you have to go like really low,
Mhm.
and then
yeah,
you can't even reach the lowest
the
point.
low
Yeah.
mode is definitely.
This is
Also for tall operators. So tall operators is
Yeah,
also
tall
the problem.
operators.
So,
Mhm.
so-
Yeah.
And
and
also,
also start with a really like kind of a top shot, and then go really low.
yeah.
So this is
The arm
cool.
or the bands are compensating very small movements, like micro movements, also very good away because the rubber is very reactive
Yeah.
to every kind of movement. So if Morris, I don't know if you can do some tip
Yeah,
rows,
sure.
you can see that the arm is very good compensating everything away.
So, but that means you need no heated covers.
No,
nothing. Okay,
We don't need
so-
any heat to cover the cold.
How is
As I
that-
said, you will lose a little bit of strength,
Yeah,
but it will not be
but
that
you can
dramatically high.
tune it up. a
Yeah.
little bit, okay.
And I mean, you can always carry some bands around your wrist and put it on the rollers if you need it really. But I don't think you will.
Nice. Let's see what we have here. What feedback you have? Oh, wait a second. I have a question.
Mhm.
Joanna, what if my setup is heavier than 32 kgs?
As I said before, it's no problem because the arm can hold up to 35 kilograms, even a little bit more if you pull it that far. But I don't think you will go in any weight problems with it.
Let's put it like that. The 35 kilos is the official limit you are allowed to put on. Anything beyond that is beyond our scope of covering it with liability or warranty.
Yeah.
It was tested way beyond that.
Yeah, but I think no arm on the market give you a warranty above 35
Yeah.
kg. So, okay, the second question from Federico. So the first question was from Joanna Tershila. Thank you, Joanna. Second question is from Federico. How does the orbit system work to adjust an elastic? It was elastic seam. So
Well, good question. I think Jan-Luca already answered this question before a little bit ago, but I mean, it's pretty simple. You got the holes in these profiles. You just add up rollers.
So the holes here?
Yes.
Okay.
You have your rollers here, so theoretically you can adjust rollers in every possible configuration you want. As we're developing it, in the time we can show you some configuration later on. But as Jan said before, every ARM comes orbit system ready, so you can upgrade it later on with no problems.
And another question from Federico. Can you go into more detail about the payload calibration? You mentioned it using more bands to fine-tune the weight capacity.
Okay, yes. I said it, I think, before a little bit unclear. We will have two band types, one thicker one and one thinner one. So with the thicker bands, you will set up your ground strength. So you will set up as many bands as you need to just carry your rig. And then we have the standard smaller bands. Then you will add up these ones for the fine tune, just to tear out the single segments in itself, like on every other ARM. So with the fine tuning adjustments.
Yes, so when you see here, so it's important. So, but this is not the heaviest Trinity 2 setup.
Sure.
So when you go higher, so you
will need a little bit more.
Thicker band, Okay. So, what is the feedback that you have from early users given so far? So my feedback is
well, I think
you have always
the overall feedback was always very impressive for us, because everyone who tried the ARM before liked it immediately after trying it. In the first round, everyone was a little bit skeptical always because of the sleeky design, of the flimsy design, and because it's so light and so small, and everyone thought, oh, this will break up my old rig.
So I'm honest now. So you focus more on engineering part than the
it's not really
product.
Maybe not really the prettiest ARM in the market, but it is one of the strongest in the market, and that we can say for sure. And the response was always great. I mean, we have on our Instagram site the video of Aaron Robbins after he tested this, about 5 minutes after he tested it in the first time, and he was amazed by the performance. And we have many more operators that tested the ARM out, and they were all very impressed.
Yeah.
Me too. So.
Yeah, me too. For me, it was also, like you said, the flimsiness of the ARM. Like on first glance, it looks really, I didn't trust it. To be honest.
I mean, the profile is very thin. You can see it all here.
Now, if you have a heavy setup and you look down and you have a really thin profile, you feel kind of eerie. But
so there's a case here somewhere.
Yeah, I can show you the case.
Yeah,
of course.
It's also impressive when you see the case.
I remember the first time Adrian came to me to show us the ARM, and he had two little cases with him, and I didn't know. He talked to us a lot, and then I thought, when is he going to get the arms?
Okay, we have an interesting question now. Can you? That's the case.
Well, yeah, that's the case. It's very small for everyone, and I can open it up. It's also designed that you can put in the ARM unloaded.
That's nice. Yeah.
So you have a special compartment here for all your bands and tools and everything you need, and the ARM will just fit in here in the space.
That's
cramped together. But without any bands on it. So the ARM will, every time you want to carry it in this type of case, you will have to unload the ARM completely and then load the ARM again for the next.
So the other question now from me is, so I tested the prototype, so I had the first band, so I filtered the bands, some bands was broke, something that we have changed now, the band types and everything. What do you think, how often you have to replace the bands?
Well, as I said before, the bands will last you around 2 to 3 years, roughly. Depends on your operation.
Then you have stupid Trinity operator that carrying heavy stuff, so you need it maybe once in a year.
Yeah, I mean, what helps to conserve the bands is to put a little bit of talcum powder on it every 10 gigs or 12 gigs, just to get them a little bit more smooth on the outside. But in general, you don't have.
How is with salt water or sand?
Should be no problem.
No. Okay.
As the bands are made for the medical standard in the USA and approved by the FDA, they can.
We have a good question here. Can you show us how you tune the Trinity ARM for the Artemis, just to see the whole process? How long does it take?
Yeah, sure.
The Trinity ARM for the Artemis.
Yeah.
All right.
So we go from the heavier to the lighter one.
We can start with Artemis. So let's tune the Artemis ARM for the Trinity and then back.
Okay.
So we have both.
Can you help me with the rubber?
Some bands.
First of all, I would put it roughly around maybe 10 to 15 rubber bands on each side.
Just to start, okay.
Just to start. And now you can tell it goes. I have to really lift it
I'll
up.
come near
I don't know
the
if you can
camera
see.
here, so
Basically, if you have an assistant,
we
Adrian
have no
is,
assistants here, so
Just coming.
I'm only the
you
founder of the
could
company.
basically
I
put
mean,
it on.
everything you need to do is now take your rubber bands and just pull it over the rollers one by one. And then you can just see how the carrying weight of the arm will rise.
Start with this
Yeah, sure. Oops. So how much do you need? Do you think?
one. A lot.
A lot? Yeah, okay, no problem.
Probably like 6 or 7 on each
Okay.
side.
Should be no problem.
And now it's
But
getting better.
with the thicker bands, it will be
Yeah.
faster. So.
This is still our standard size. Our thinner band, our thicker bands are still in the process of making. So they will arrive in the next couple of weeks, and then we are also ready with
Yes.
them. And then can we show you them also?
But usually you get a feeling of how much rubber bands you will need
Yeah.
for what setup.
So
So you
feeling in
prepare
there.
that before you shoot, definitely. Yesterday I came unprepared. I had to do it all on set. And
Yeah, but the same as in replacing the canisters of the Pro Arm or
exactly.
on the
But it only
Pretty
took
good.
me maybe 5, maybe one
A little
more.
bit more on the front, yeah.
So I don't know how long this was.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
that's
roughly.
the same,
But on the other way around, it will take less time because you
Exactly,
just
we
pull the
just
band
have to
away.
pull it
So,
off.
Yes. So let's try the different one.
so these were roughly 6 or 7 per segment.
So the other ones, the thicker ones, are 3 millimeters thick, or
A little bit more than 3 millimeters, around
so that
3.5
means,
millimeters.
that
Yeah.
means one band, it's replacing 6 bands here or something.
One band is replacing 3,
3, okay.
roughly.
So okay. So that means you put now 6 on each segment. In
Sure.
this case, you have to put only maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that saves time. Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna tune this one. This is tuned for the Trinity 2. And I'd say we have to lose around
2, 3 of them, maybe 4.
maybe more.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the
Or
other
on this
question is,
side.
and then you need to adjust the isoelasticity or no? The isoelasticity is always the same. with
The
that.
isoelasticity is always the same. That's the good thing with our system, because the more bands you add up, you just change the lift and not the behavior of the arm or the dampening behavior of the arm.
So
That's
the
a cool thing,
smoothness and
yes.
isoelasticity is always the same.
It's always
That's
the
what you
same.
feel. So the only thing is with the orbiter system, you will be able to adjust the isoelasticity for your needs.
Yes,
for hard mount quad action or really soft, really tight shots.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
This is strong.
That's about it, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
So I can also take them off
On the fly.
while I'm wearing it, which is nice. Maybe there's one here then. May look a bit different tuning the arm, but it's roughly the same time you would need to
Okay.
turn up.
So
I
if
think. Yeah.
the question is, the more it runs now, the gimbal stays on the same position. So yes, we can try. So
Now this is tuned for around this height.
Yeah.
If I run,
Yeah.
Sure. I'll just run towards the camera.
Towards camera. Yeah. We can start.
Can you see that?
Sure. Just
Start
put it in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. We can go with the camera on the arm. So yes, that's
Ready?
good. And go. You can also get the hand off the gimbal. So
Sure.
just to rig, just to see it. Yeah. Looks good.
And you can see that the arm is very well compensating all micro movements and bigger movements away. So that's the big advantage of these rubber bands that we have.
So another question is, how does the actual behave with its low dead weight to the vertical vibrations when running? If there are any comparisons or experiences? So I do a lot of running. On the last commercial that I did, I had a lot of running scenes. And again, so the biggest effect on the arm, so that really impressed me as operator, I don't feel the arm more. So I feel nothing. So, and that's really impressive. So the arm is not fighting against me, especially with the Trinity. When the arm starts fighting in my against my hips, I have a lot issues while operating. But with this arm, nothing, and vibrations also. No, the arm is really stiff. So it looks really flimsy, but he's really stiff.
If you look down, you really see that small profile, which isn't a lot thicker than your gimbal handle. This is really worrying at first, but once you trust your
also
arm,
curious. Hopefully next month commercial with some hard mount quad action.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
curious to test it on it. So definitely. So
Interesting. So yeah.
are you going to do any public demos in the near future?
Yes, for all in and around Munich, we will be tomorrow at the Rover company in Munich and get the arm out for a demo. And we will also be on the BSC Expo next week, yes.
In London.
In London on the ARI booth. And we will also be at the NAB in Las Vegas, also at the Cinegear in Los Angeles, and also on the Eurocine Expo in Munich.
Nice.
In June.
So on the most important shows.
Sure.
Okay.
We have also a pre-series arm going around in the LA area. So if you're in the contact with Ari Robbins and some of his team, you can also get your hands on the arm by contacting him.
And also in Munich.
And also in Munich, of course.
Okay. I don't know, Federico, where are you based? Maybe in US or in Europe?
Well, our main base will be in Germany, near Munich in the south at the Lake of Constance, but we will try to get a network working where the arms will be available worldwide for testing.
The question comes from Federico.
Okay.
Federico, you can send us an email on the info CSS-Forum. So I share the contact with the guys. So, and you can talk with the guys so maybe to organize some demos. I'm based in Italy, okay.
Cool.
Anything coming in the area, maybe, or Italy. So what will we have there?
Well, I think we can arrange something in that area. That should be no problem.
Maybe we'll have some demo equipment that you can tip to operators, or
we will have to look, but should be no problem to get anything arranged in that way.
So you will, all guys in this meeting here, you will get an email with all facts and info, so you can answer if you have any question in advance. You can put it in the email, and we will get everything to the rocket stabilizer guys. So let's see what we have here. So we have the maintenance, the materials. So the important thing is the expected price, and we will.
That is a really good question. I will hand over this question to Jan-Luca. He's our expert in marketing and selling.
Back again. So pricing and availability. We have made a first series of people who can buy the arm. It's called Apollo 11. It's also advertised on the website, and it is 11 arms at 9,969 euros each, and they go on sale February 15th, and they will be delivered at the end of April. So they go on sale right after the BSC Expo, and all the info on like how to purchase, all the purchasing instructions will be on the website February 13th. Adrian, we thought, because this interview is quite special and the CSS-Forum is quite special, we know who's in this meeting. So for all of you, we would give you the option to just write us an email if you want one. and get on that list before anyone else, before it goes public. Basically, with it only being 11 arms, it's first come, first serve. And that's going to be the first time the arm goes on sale. And then it's going to take a while. And then it's going to go on sale unlimited.
Nice. Thank you. Interesting. So also other questions. So it will be available worldwide?
Yes, the arm will be available worldwide.
Okay.
There should be no problem.
How is with servicing or service things? So then
in the beginning, the service will be based here at Germany. So if you have any major problems, you will have to ship the arm to us, and then we can inspect it and repair it if anything happens. But we are looking forward to get an international networking on with ARI together.
But if I need some spare parts, so you can ship.
I mean, if you need any
spare
special spare parts, we can ship it to you. It's also
this part is
that should be
broke,
there should be no problem. We can also ship you the parts in just a single item.
Perfect.
But we are looking to get an international network working with ARI together and their bases around the world, so that if you have any problems, you can ship the arm to the next ARI location, and you will get from them.
Yeah. Important for us operators is there
Sure.
also the possibility that I can
you
call you, that I can call you. So
Okay.
I'm in Spain,
Yes.
in the desert, and
Yes.
on a set, and I need the replacement part in 2 days. So you can
That should be no
also
problem,
ships. Okay.
So how is that question from me? How is that communication happening between the operators? And
Well, at the beginning, the communication will be very basic through our email or phone number. But we are planning on setting up later on an application for this arm together with some other products in our line and with other brands together. So if you have any problems, you can reach us through this application immediately, and we can respond to it in a very efficient way and get you the parts you need or the service you need in the fastest way possible ever.
Maybe I have not understand this, but you have just pre-orders now. The Apollo
Yes,
11, right?
the Apollo 11
15.
is
And the real start of selling?
the real start of sale will be in July. There we
July.
will always also start pre-selling periods. Yeah.
Let me add in on that.
Yeah, sure.
The Apollo 11 series is not a pre-series or a pre-order.
Okay, it's a special,
actually,
just okay.
It's actually already in manufacturing. So you're not like buying into a pre-order. You're buying a product. It's just that the assembly time or the time we take until we can ship it out. April, like the end of April, which we've stated, is the earliest date we can give. Oh, sorry, I forgot the camera.
No
The
problem.
earliest date we can give, like with quite some buffer in there, so nothing goes wrong.
So, okay, I understand. So the Apollo 11 is just the early bird special price.
Kind of
first
those
customers.
willing to take risk. Like,
Yeah.
if you're hyped and if you want to try something new before anyone else does,
Yeah,
that's the
you can
mission.
get in there. Okay. So it's no pre-order, something like that. So it's just a real order, but
Yes.
yeah, get the special price for the first arms. Okay, understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. So, let me check what we have. Any other questions? Let's see if I forget something.
do you want to see anything special?
One
While
more
we are
question,
here.
Federico. How many bands are included in the kit? And how many bands total, thin and thick, did you need to get the Artemis live setup balanced? The broader question will be how many bands to GG? Yeah.
Very good questions. As we still are also waiting on our thicker bands from our manufacturer, we can't really tell you how much you will need of the thicker bands, but it will roughly 2/3 less. So now you will need quite a lot of them because we just have one size of the bands, but later on you can just count it down on a 2/3 of them.
Let me add in on that. So Adrian is right in that there's always like the hardest thing actually for the whole arm has been to go through all the rubber materials because like metal is very easy to spec out.
Yeah.
Rubber is a very organic behaving material, especially if you work with less expensive manufacturers, which we don't because we quickly realized that that's just not a way to get consistency. That's why we have the German manufacturer. But if you take the calculations, you will need about 50 bands for a max payload setup, which is 35 kilos. So 25 bands on each segment, and that's the thick bands later on. Currently, it's about 90. But again, currently you're basically using the fine-tuning bands to get all the weight, and that's just because we had to order over 100 kilos of the big bands, and they take quite a lot of time to manufacture. So they are in manufacturing, and we are happily awaiting them.
So my question is, the 2.8 kgs, it's only the arm, it's the metal part of the arm without the bands, or included the bands?
So the 2.8 kilograms contains the whole arm with the bands.
With the bands?
Yes.
On 25 kg setup? Or
No, on a
something?
heavy setup.
On a heavy setup.
On a heavy
Okay,
setup, yes.
So full rigged with rubber.
Yes, sure.
So with the rubbers, with the weight of the rubbers is maybe 200 grams.
Yeah, it's not that much. So the arm itself is about 2.56 kilograms, and then you add up the rubber bands, 100, 200 grams, and then you will have your.
Can you show us this? Show us the socket block? Of course.
I think when the camera zooms a little bit into me, you can just see the socket block a little bit better. Well, what we have to say is we test this arm together with Kurt and his CSS team.
Can show it a
It was
little bit closer here.
very good pleasure with him, working with him. And he also helped us improve our socket block design. So that's why I said some of the operators will notice this socket block design and also be very happy with it.
And the material is really special.
The material is very special, yes.
So
very strong, very rigid, and also very ergonomic to handle it.
I can imagine what kind of material, but I don't. It's not allowed to say, or
no.
Okay.
And it fits all Wests.
Yes, it's designed that it could fit.
It's really light.
It is, yeah. Obviously.
So, other questions? Let me check if I forgot something. Got that. So I think we have all questions here. Yeah, I think we have all questions. That's fine. Let's see if I have one of the old questions that we have all done. I think that's it. So if nobody have more questions, I think we are done.
Yeah.
So thank you. Huge thanks to Adrian.
Thank you
Moritz,
for
especially
coming.
for Moritz.
Thank you,
Here
Moritz.
with the Trinity Rig.
Sure.
Thank you, Jan-Luca at home. So and that you will get better soon.
And thank you for having us and organizing all of this.
You're welcome, guys. And also, if you have more questions and want to just write an email or to the CSS-Forum, and I will provide all questions to the guys. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next Q&A. So the next Q&A is in 2 days with FlowScene and the new XARM Neo in your Air. So we are happy when you're there. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.